Here are the main flaws in this argument. Most importantly, is the 15% increase in business really worthwhile? Is it worth calling this a success? At what rate was the business growing otherwise in the earlier years? If it were growing at more than 15%, 25% earlier, and this year it grew by only 15%, then it may not be a success for the company. This data is very important. And at what rate are the comparable businesses or the industry growing? If a particular industry is growing at 30% and a particular company grows at 15%, it may not be success for that company. Then can the increase be attributed to the advertisement in the directory? There is no mention of what percentage of the lead for the company came from this printed directory and what was the impact of these leads on the revenue of the company. So no causal relationship between the 15% growth and the printed directory. No mention of status quo. Did Maverick Spa do nothing else to increase its revenue? And did other factors such as the industry trends, lifestyles, did they have a role to play at all in this growth? This would make sense when we say that everything else remained the same and the 15% growth happened only because of the printed directory. Otherwise, this may just be a coincidence rather than correlation. No mention of competition. Lack of explanation justifying the use of print medium despite online options being very, very popular for options such as finding a spa. So in suggesting that all businesses can benefit from this particular directory, it becomes very important to suggest that how this directory compares with competitors offline and online. There is no competitive landscaping done in the argument made by the author. Extrapolating results on profits. See, remember, the business has increased. Increase in business technically, practically means increase in revenue. And the conclusion says that all businesses can make use of the directory to become more profitable. So revenue has been extrapolated to profit, which may not always be true. So there is no information regarding the profitability of Maverick Spa. And then history generalization and extrapolating the result to all businesses. What applied to a spa company need not apply to a telecom company. So no common ground has been established suggesting that this directory is strong enough to be catering to all sort of businesses. This remains another very important flaw. Use this buzzword on your essay, generalization. This is an excellent example of generalizing something. This worked for spa, this works for all the companies, all the industries, all the options, all businesses. This is generalization. So these are the major flaws in this argument. An effective structure to your essay would be to have a clear introduction suggesting that the argument in its current state is full of flaws and is not convincing. Then for every flaw that you have determined, have a separate paragraph. Suppose you find have 5 paragraphs in the stem of your essay, and then conclude very clearly, however concisely, conclude clearly suggesting that on the basis of the reasoning here, the argument in its current state is not convincing.